Hello, it's Lee from Brogan DIY and Home Maintenance again. Today we've been asked to go around to a kitchen. Wooden worktops, all a little bit tired, all a little bit battered, burnt, scratched, just seen better days. You see there's a little burn. So what the ladies asked us to do is tidy them up. What I use to start off with, lots of different ways of doing it. I've got a scraper. Now with the scraper it's got to have a keen edge. As you can see from that picture, it is there's no dinks or scrapes in it, because as you're using it, if you've got a dink or a scrape, as you cross the work surfaces, what I'm just about to do here, you will leave a nasty gouge. So it's really important prior to using one of these, you double check that it's nice and smooth. Now you see a few lines left there. What's actually happening is as I'm taking it back, that's where the wood's swollen over the period of time where it's got wet. Obviously being block wood, it expands in different areas at different rates, so it does leave little edges. So that's another great idea with this thing. It will knock out the top edges. Primarily we're using this just to take off the varnish layer. That's all we want to do. If you're taking a bit of wood with it, then what you're actually doing is leveling the worktop at the same time. So that's the theory behind it. What we're doing is speed it up now, because there's nothing duller than watching somebody just drag off a load of varnish. Pretty much just nice steady pressure. Don't put too much pressure as you put the blade on to start off with. You increase slowly as you go. As you can see, I'm fingering the surface. Basically I can't see the varnish. You can in the camera because of the way the light is, but from where I was standing you can't actually see it. So when you run your finger across, you can feel all the blemishes, all the ridges, and obviously where your finger sort of sticks to the surface, that's obviously going to be varnish. So gently every now and then I run my hand over it, make sure I can feel it's nice and smooth, make sure there's no marks, and make sure I'm getting the finish, because this is the nuts and bolts of the job. If you take your time on this and you do this correctly, the varnishing or the oiling of the worktop afterwards is going to be a lot easier. And of course, without being too obvious, if you leave a duff finish, a rough finish, a gouge finish and all the rest of it, when you oil it or when you varnish it, whatever your choice is afterwards, it's going to look hideous. So this is a time, nice and steady, take your time, make sure you only get off the surface that you want to get off, make sure it's smooth before you go on to the next steps. That's basically what you want to be left with, a pile of varnish. As with all wood jobs, the obligatory sanding afterwards, which is hard work. This is the worst part of it all. So first sandpaper we use is quite a fine sandpaper, just to take out any odd blemishes that remain. Obviously at this point you shouldn't really have any. Then go on to a finer sandpaper still, pop that on the orbital sander, which you'll see in a second, because that is going to be the finished job. So nice fine, bit laborious, up down, up down, up down, up and down. Oh, sorry if this is obvious, but follow the grain. Next job is critical, dust. Make sure you're going to be varnishing in a minute, so all dust is off the worktop, brush down. Completely dust free environment as much as you can. Then we're ready to apply the first coat. So far so good, we're all happy. Second coat's ready to go on. Very light sanding. The second coat will have the durability and the smoother finish, depth to shine. And you'll see now for the worktop, we've got most of the marks out. There's a mark there we couldn't get completely out. That's a burn, obviously a burning wood. To sand that right out, you'd have left a divot, and that would have been where water would have settled. So we knock out as many of the marks as is possible without ruining the overall look of the worktop. And there you have it, the finished job, exactly what the customer requested. What I would say to you guys is, as long as you've got the right tools and the patience, try it yourself. Good luck.